Mom's voice cut through the air like the snap of a winter branch. "This year, no gifts," she declared, her hand wrapped tightly around her wine glass. We all agreed. Times are tough. Let's focus on family, not money. I glanced at my husband Daniel, who sat quietly beside me, his arm resting against the chair. His calm brown eyes met mine for a moment, and he gave me the slightest nod, like he always did when he wanted me to feel steady. Rachel, my sister, tossed her perfectly straight hair over her shoulder. "Fine by me," she said, her tone sharp, but her eyes were already flicking toward Jason. Jason smirked, that smug little twist of his mouth that I'd hated since we were kids. Yeah, no gifts. "We'll keep it simple," he said, adjusting the cuffs of his tailored shirt like the decision was beneath him. Dad, Robert, leaned back in his chair with a sigh. Finally. A Christmas without all that nonsense. But something in Jason's smirk unsettled me. I brushed it off. After all, Mom, Linda, was firm. And Linda's rules were never broken. The weeks leading up to Christmas were hard. I sat with my kids, Ethan and Sophie, at the kitchen table, stringing popcorn and cutting paper snowflakes. They were good sports, though I caught Ethan staring at the old commercial on TV, kids ripping open shiny boxes. Sophie once whispered, "Do you think Santa will still bring us something small?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Santa's giving us family time this year," I told her, my voice steady even as guilt gnawed at me. Daniel worked late, hauling firewood, fixing fences on the farm, taking extra handyman jobs. At night, when we lay in bed, I whispered, "Do you think they'll actually stick to it?" He kissed my forehead. "They said they would. Don't worry." But a pit in my stomach told me otherwise. Christmas morning. The snow crunched beneath our boots as we walked up Mom and Dad's driveway. Ethan clutched the little cardboard ornament he'd made, a heart with glitter glued unevenly on the edges. Sophie carried cookies we'd baked from scratch. When the door opened, the warmth of cinnamon and pine spilled out. Carol music played faintly in the background. My parents greeted us with hugs, Rachel with an air kiss. And then? I saw it, the Christmas tree glittered with gold and silver. And beneath it? Piles of boxes. Shiny wrapping paper. Bows that gleamed under the string lights. My breath caught. Daniel's hand tightened around mine. I leaned toward Mom, my voice sharp but quiet. "What is this? You said no gifts." Linda waved a hand as if I were being dramatic. "Oh, just a few little things. Don't spoil the mood, Emily." Jason's kids, Ava and Lucas, dove under the tree like wolves. Paper ripped, laughter echoed, and then the gleam of screens caught the light. Ethan froze, the cardboard ornament slipping slightly in his small hand. Sophie's lips parted, her eyes wide. "iPhones." Ava squealed, holding hers up like a trophy. "The new ones." Jason beamed, pride swelling in his chest. "Well, you know. Kids need to stay connected. Can't have them falling behind." He looked directly at me, his smirk dripping with mockery. My cheeks burned. Ethan's shoulders slumped. Sophie pressed her face into my side, trying to hide her tears. Linda clapped her hands. "Isn't this wonderful?" she cooed. "Jason, you always know how to make Christmas special." My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. "We agreed," I said, my voice trembling. "We agreed no gifts." Jason shrugged, sipping his wine like a king on his throne. "Guess I changed my mind." That night, when we returned home, the silence in the car was suffocating. Ethan stared out the window, his reflection faint against the snow. Sophie whispered, "Why didn't we get anything?" Daniel reached back, resting his hand on her knee. "Because some promises aren't worth breaking, sweetheart." But I could see the pain in his eyes. After the kids went to bed, I sat at the kitchen table, my hands buried in my hair. "I can't let them feel small like that again," I whispered. Daniel slid into the chair across from me. "Then we won't. We'll find a way." And so we did. January bled into February. Daniel worked late, hauling lumber, fixing engines for neighbors. I baked pastries, selling them at the Saturday market. I picked up freelance projects, writing until my fingers cramped. Every dollar went into an envelope, tucked in the back of Daniel's toolbox. Sometimes I wanted to give up. But then I'd remember Sophie's face that morning, pressed against me as her cousins unwrapped phones. I'd remember Ethan's quiet, defeated silence. And I kept going. By July, the envelope was thick. Ethan's birthday came first. He sat at the table, his friends around him, candles flickering on the cake. When Daniel set the box in front of him, Ethan hesitated. His fingers trembled as he peeled the wrapping away. A gasp escaped him. "Is this for me?" Inside was a phone. Not the latest. Not the flashiest. But his own. His eyes shone with tears as he looked up at me. "Thank you, Mom." Sophie's birthday followed weeks later. She tore the paper carefully, her breath catching when she saw her own phone inside. She threw her arms around me, her voice muffled against my neck. "I feel like I belong now." Daniel smiled, his eyes misty. "You always belonged, Sophie." By Christmas the next year, things were different. When we walked into Mom and Dad's house again, Jason's smirk was ready, until Ethan and Sophie pulled out their phones. Laughing, taking photos, sending texts just like their cousins. Jason's smile faltered. "When did you?" I shrugged, sipping my coffee. "We managed." Mom blinked, surprised. Rachel looked away, suddenly quiet, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel small in that house. My kids didn't look like outsiders. They looked proud, confident, whole. Later that night, as we drove home under the blanket of falling snow, Ethan leaned forward from the back seat. "Mom?" "Yes, sweetheart? Thanks for not giving up on us." Tears stung my eyes. I reached back and squeezed his hand. "I never will." Daniel's hand slid into mine on the console, warm and steady. "They'll never make us feel less again," he said softly, and I knew he was right, because revenge doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it's the quiet victories, the look on Jason's face, the stunned silence from Mom and Dad, the laughter of my kids, that echo the loudest. They thought we had nothing. But what we gave our children was worth more than any iPhone: dignity, belonging, and proof that resilience builds the strongest families.